Ooh, ooh.
Season 4, y'all. Season 4. Season 4. I don't know what episode this is, but why is it that I feel like, you know what, I'm going to answer the question and then I'm going to ask it? Because we are multi-talented, multi-used moms.
Yes, we
are. Question is, why is it that we're always running in here like chickens with our heads cut off, like just under the wire we made it? Why?
Because we have children.
Because we are mompreneurs.
Mompreneurs. That's it. That's it.
But we are here.
But we're here.
It's season 4. We are here. This season, we're talking about Doctoral Destinations, and we're literally giving you the map from start to finish. We're giving you information for each step of the journey. I am so excited that you are here for the Doing the Doctorate podcast. I am Dr. Kesslin, the host of this podcast, and I am a doctoral coach, author, educator, and love helping people make a dynamic difference in the world through doctoral education. But you all know that I don't do this podcast alone. No. In the podcast room with me, virtually, not virtually, is Dr. O, the incomparable early childhood educator, mompreneur, author, speaker, expert, founder of STEM Early LLC, and the coolest doctor with the coolest name, Dr. A.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Listen, I was talking to a friend of mine a long time ago, and I said, when am I going to be, like, how old do my kids have to be for me not to be able to use them as like an excuse to why I'm always rushing or running around? And she said, Dr. O, you have 4 kids. So the answer to that question is never. You will forever be busy because you have children.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes.
So there you have it.
So there has to be a way to balance it all. Like I'm not coming in with the sweat on my brow this week.
Well, that's good.
But I am coming in with smoke on my feet.
You're coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
Sunday.
Oh man, but we're here, y'all. We're here. Congratulations. You made it. You made it. Oh,
I made it.
You made it into the space. You made it into the space.
Yeah.
So before we get started with every podcast, we have a doctoral thought, and the thought for the day, and then we'll do our catch up. I know I did it in reverse. Sorry. Then we'll do our catch up. But the thought for the day is this. If I can find it. Questions are the impetus for information, and information is the instigator of change. Questions are the impetus for information, and information is the instigator of change. And I love that because, I mean, this kind of gets into what we're talking about today. But when I talk to people who are considering getting a doctoral degree, or people who are at that dissertation like crossover phase, they inadvertently or always say, I don't know what my research question is, right? And the question guides everything else. So it's important to have a thought about the question. I tell the story all the time when I do public speaking. I always share about my childhood. I have been the one to ask questions. I used to get in trouble. I'm 70. And I used to get in trouble because I would ask questions and my mama would say, stop asking all them questions. But it's who I am, because even then I understood the power of a question. So let me read it again.
It's good.
Questions are the impetus for information, and information is the instigator of change. So ask the questions.
That's good.
What's up, Doc? What are your thoughts?
That's good. I think many of us are absent of, the right information, or we're absent of information because we choose not to ask the right questions.
Yes.
So there's a lot of information that is missing in the world. And information, you said, is the instigator of change. Well,
Yes.
we can't get the information that will enable us to change as a people, as a society, if we don't have the right or ask the right questions. So
Yeah.
it is super important that you sit with your questions and that you question your questions, and that's okay. We're groomed in a society as young children to not ask so many questions, but it's when we stop asking questions, we stop getting information, and when we stop getting new information, we stop changing. And when we
Mm-hmm.
stop changing, we become stagnant. So
Mm-hmm.
it's so important that we encourage questioning, and to your point, the right questions, which
Yeah.
takes thought. Like, your question, your research question is not going to come like that, and that's
It doesn't come overnight.
doesn't
Yeah.
come like that. You got to sit
Yeah.
with that thing and ruminate with that thing, and
Yes.
question why you're questioning the questions that you have. And
Yes.
it's okay. But I think we're taught, first of all, not to ask questions.
Right.
And then
Right.
second of all, we should have all the questions. And
Right.
we don't. So it is a process, and we have to sit with it. And I think that's a really great place to start, because we talk about the destination, the doctoral destination, but every destination has a start point,
Yes.
and we have to sit with where we are, and be okay that we don't know.
Yeah. And see, we're already at the topic, but let's just for a minute. We have not been taught that it's okay to not know. Think about it. All of our tests along the way in our training, at least in our US school system, have been taught to regurgitate answers that someone else has given,
That's good.
but not to ask questions. In fact, sometimes teachers, not you, not you, but not me, but sometimes teachers frown upon asking of
Yes.
questions.
Yes.
But that's where the critical thinking piece happens, which is what we really want from our young people, not for them to just regurgitate. We want them to process what they're thinking. So it all starts with asking questions. Here we go. Questions are the impetus for information, and information is the instigator of change. But it all starts with a question. So
That's so good. Okay, we're not there, but I just want to comment, because you said something. I was like, I have to find this in my notes. And I wrote down in my notes, back in August when I was doing some research, it says, in school, we were led to believe that all questions have answers already.
mm,
And we were
mm,
taught that, it says many of us already feel inadequate. So admitting that we don't know often keeps us in our stuck place with our research.
my.
But admitting that we
And our life. And our life.
well, true, because
Hello.
I was talking about educational research, but true. But this book was saying, when you admit that you don't know the answer to the question, that's where the real research begins.
Mm.
And I was like, that is so good. And it's so
That's
counter.
it.
It's so counter to what we were taught in school. We were taught that all questions have answers immediate, and you should know them.
Yes.
You don't know them, then you're not quote unquote smart. But it's those that don't know, those are the ones that the book was trying to say, those are the ones that are wise, because
Right.
when you don't know, you search.
Yeah.
So it's
My,
good. It's good.
yeah.
It's
My
good.
baby says, "Mommy, can I ask you a question?" And sometimes I'm tempted to say not. Sometimes I actually do say not right now.
Mhm.
Can you hold it for later? But it's always good when people ask questions to
Absolutely.
me. To me.
Absolutely. That's
To
good.
me.
That's
So,
good.
all right, let's backtrack. Oh, how was your
Woo!
week? How was your week? How
It
was your
was
week?
good. It was good. Yesterday, so we weren't here last week because of
Right.
the amazing. I don't know if we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Speaking of
That
together.
thing, if you were not here last Sunday, you need to catch the replay, period, with no comma. You need
It was good, wasn't it? Mm. And she's talking about speaking up together.
speaking up together.
Yeah.
I have pages and pages, and when there's so much. There's so much. I'm not even going to go there. I just want to say that if you didn't watch it last week, you need to watch it. It really made me. I've been thinking about that thing for like 2 weeks.
Mm.
They just were hitting
Mm.
my soul with some of
Mm.
the things they were saying about preparation for the upcoming elections. And
And post-election, right?
that's really what hit me.
Mm.
I mean, watch the replay. Watch the replay.
So so it was called, the session was called Speaking Up Together, and it is something that I started with Dr. Chanel Boatswain and Dr. Sidney Freeman Jr. We, after the untimely deaths of two, three, two university presidents,
Mhm.
serving, they died while in service. One person committed suicide. She was a vice president of student services or student life. And then the untimely resignation of the president of an Ivy League university.
Mhm.
Well, we just knew that this was a call to do some work.
Yeah.
So these, first Dr. Sidney Freeman joined me, and then Dr. Boatswain, and we just wanted to continue the conversation. So this, and they're periodic. So this particular conversation that Dr. O is referring to, we talked about leading during political leanings.
Yeah.
So how do we lead as Black women in higher education or Black women in the academy? How do we lead during this political season? And it wasn't a conversation about Republicans or Democrats, as although some of that came in. It was more of a conversation about the power and the influence of the political system and how it impacts us, but also how we can impact it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think if we walked away with nothing else, it's that we have a responsibility to truly engage and take the bull by the horns, as they say, engage the process to make a dynamic difference in the world, right?
Yeah.
And engage our students
Yes.
in this
Yes.
process of
Yes.
change makers. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just really good. And one of the doctors that passed away has the same name as me.
Mm,
And I didn't know about her.
yeah.
I knew about some of the others, and I was like, I saw Dr. Arinthia. I was like, wait, what? And so it was very sobering for
Yeah.
me. And I've been really like ruminating on all of the things that they said. And one of the things that hit me the most is the fact that success is not a solo mission, and this
Mm,
is a collective. And sometimes when we're in academia, the competition to out research, get tenured, finish this before you and not collaborate because I got to hoard all my research and not share, and how that's actually detrimental.
yes.
It's also countercultural, and it's also
Yes.
counter humanity. So really just honing in on the collective. And that's why I really love this podcast particularly, because you opened it up to share. Like I'm sharing what I know. I'm here to help. I'm not, well, I got my doctorate and I know all the tips and tricks and I'm not going to share anything. No, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. And there's a place for you. There's a place for you to say, a safe space to say, I don't know. I
Right.
don't understand. I need
Right.
some help. I want to get to the destination. I want to get the degree. And I have the degree and I wanted to do the work and I don't know how and I'm struggling. We don't have to lose our lives for this work. We
That's
don't have to. Some of us may be called to, but there's a lot of untimely deaths happening. And so we need each other. We
Yeah.
really need each other.
Yeah.
So it was just really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I want to thank Dr. Carla Braley from Texas Southern and Dr. Angela Henderson from the University of the District of Columbia. They were our panelists last week. They were amazing, man.
Amazing.
They were amazing. They were
They
amazing.
were good. They were good. So that was last week.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
yesterday I was able to do the Project ACT conference, which is an early childhood conference that happens every year in Towson. This was my third year doing it. So what's really cool about being consistent at conferences is that people start to look for you.
Come through. Yeah.
Like they said, oh, Dr. O, it's a smaller conference. You'll probably have like 18 people in your session. Like there were people sitting on the floor. And people came up to me after, it's like, yeah, I didn't sign up for this, but then I saw it was you. And I can't, like, we had people sitting on the floor. And thank God for the Holy Spirit who said, just pack extra.
Wow.
And this time I actually listened because I was like, oh, 18 people I packed, and it just the spirit inside of me said, just pack some extra. And I was like,
Wow.
this is a lot extra to pack, but nevertheless, I will obey. I used everything.
Wow.
People were sitting on the floor. I couldn't believe
Wow.
it.
That's
So
because you're Dr. O. Come on.
it was just a blessing.
Early childhood educator extraordinaire. Come on. Yes.
It was a great, yesterday was a really fun day. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
what about you? You have a lot going on. Planes,
Man.
trains, and automobiles.
Man, these next 24, 36 hours are going to be crazy. I'll tell you about that later. But last night,
I know.
I haven't shed a tear yet. I felt it though. I just felt it.
We did.
My,
We did.
my teenager, high schooler, went to her first homecoming dance, and she was so beautiful. She's so
Oh,
sweet. She's just so sweet. She went to her first homecoming dance. So as tired as I was, Lord have mercy, she just looks so beautiful. She is just so those are the moments. All of this is really important work. It really is important work. All the other things that we do, but for me, being a mom is the most important job that God has given me on this earth.
100%.
So to see my baby just shine, it was great. So that was last week, along with all the work stuff and planning this NACSW conference and that was the highlight of my week. So I'm thankful.
Yeah.
So y'all put in the chat, like, what keeps you going? What was your week like?
Yeah.
Talk to us. We want to know. Well, we want to do our doctoral check-in. We want to know, like, what you get your doctorate degree in? Where did you get it from? And why do we do all of this? Well, we really want other people to be inspired and to be informed about what you can get a doctoral degree in.
Yes.
You can get a doctorate in almost everything. So this is our way of inviting you into the conversation. Our doctoral roll call. We want you to put your name in, what your doctoral degree is in, where you got it from. Like, we just want to be able to share your success and your information to inspire others. So doctoral roll call, put it in. All right, we have talked about everything else, Doc. Listen, I think we might have 10 minutes to go. And
we're at 19 right already.
Yeah, see. But anyway, okay, so tonight, you all, we are talking about how to craft, how do you know how to write your question? How do you know even how to develop a question? How do you consider methodology? I forgot what we named it. What did we name this? Let's see. I've forgotten. But in essence, we're talking about how to write your questions. Here we go. Creating a winning mindset and writing your doctoral questions. So what we're talking about is the fact that 50% of doctoral students don't complete.
That's crazy.
And most people get through the courses just fine, but it's when you get to that dissertation phase. And people ask the question, well, what is your research question? That's when people get stuck. That's when it all seems to fall apart for some folk. So, and I remember it took me, and it doesn't have to take this long, but it took me, it seems like 2 years just getting to a place of figuring out what my research question was.
Yeah.
I was so irritated. I tell this story all the time. I went in to have a conversation with my mentor, and I had presented a question that said the perspectives of African American clergy. She said, do you mean perspectives or perceptions? I said, perspectives, perceptions. What difference does it make?
Yes.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
But then it didn't. So drafting the question is one of the most difficult parts of the journey. Figuring out what your research topic is going to be. So I'm going to share with you 10 questions for you to ask. 10. I'm going to go through them really quickly because we only have 9 minutes. But 10. Oh, she said, write it down. 10 questions for you to ask when you're thinking about what you want to research. How do you develop your question? Here's question 1. What topic brings you joy to discuss? What do you like talking about within your field, right? Professional, your field. What do you enjoy talking about? What's natural for you to talk about? Two, what topic ticks you off? It just makes you angry within your field or not.
Mhm.
What is the topic that ticks you off? You're like, I am so tired of dealing with that thing, because that's what you're passionate about. Whether you're talking about it joyfully or a topic that ticks you off, what we're trying to do is tap into that thing that's your passion, because your passion is what's going to keep you going through
Yes.
when you're when you have to persist, when you're pressed against struggles and pressures. So your passion. So what topics bring you joy? What topics tick you off? What problem or possibility do I spend my time thinking about? What do I just spend my time thinking about? Either a problem or a possibility. Man, if I had $1 million, I would change.
Mm.
Right? We're tapping into your passion now. Question 4. This is more less about your passion and more about your purpose. Okay. Where do I see myself in the future, and what do I want to be known as the expert in? Where do I see myself? I am one who believes that your dissertation should be used to, yes, answer questions, but position you into your purpose. So, where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10 years? And what topic do you want to be known as the expert in? Right. And then question 5. Again, this connects to purpose. So first it was your passion and now it's your purpose, which can be one and the same. How do I want to make a dynamic difference in the world? Every morning when I pray with my children as they're on their way to school, I always end the prayer with, and this is the day for you to make a dynamic difference in the world, right? How do you want to make a dynamic difference in the world? So those are the top 5 questions, right?
That's good.
Those are the top 5. They deal with your passion and your purpose. Here are the next 5. What more do we need to know about either your passion or your purpose that could change the world, or at least the corner of your world? Like, what more do we need to know? We know this. My area is domestic violence, right? Religiosity, spirituality, domestic violence. We know this. We know this. We know this. We know that people go to church. We know that people who go to church have experiences with domestic violence. But we don't know what the messages are from clergy. We don't know clergy's experiences. We don't know their perceptions. We know that they have a pulpit, which is a position of power, but we don't know how they use it to address domestic violence. Now, this was when I was doing research, and I wanted to know more about that. So the question is, what more do we need to know about the problem or the possibility that can make a dynamic difference in the world if we knew it, or at least brighten the corner where you are? Question number 7. Who can best fill the gap in addressing what we need to know?
That's good.
Who can fill the gap? This links more to your participants, who you need to ask, right? Who can fill this gap that I need to know more about? Question 8. I feel like I'm in class giving a pop quiz. Question 8. Question 8. What's the best and most ethical way of getting them involved? The people that we need to hear from, what's the best way and most ethical way to get them involved? We're not trying to trip people up. We're not trying to cause more harm than good, because all know there has been some research that has caused a lot of harm. That's not what we're trying to do. So, what's the best and most ethical way to get people involved? Number 9, what's the most efficient and effective way to get honest information?
Mm.
We're not trying to trick people, but we do want honest information.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't feel like they can share on a certain topic. Well, how can I help to make them feel comfortable to share? What's the most efficient and effective way to get honest information? And the last question, there are 10. That was a lot for a podcast. There are 10. Last question. How can I use what they tell me to make a dynamic difference in the world? How can I use what they tell me to make a dynamic difference in the world? Which loops back to, where
Yeah.
do you see yourself?
You already see yourself.
Where
Yeah.
do you see yourself? How can this information not only shape my life, but shape the lives of others?
That's
All
good.
right.
That's good.
10 questions to ask when you're talking through your research topic. 10 questions to ask. And that's how to get started
That's good.
on your doctoral destination. Thoughts, oh?
That's good. The 10 questions are amazing. And I would encourage you to go through the questions and not think about what's my final question.
Mm-hmm.
So you use this as a template to get you there. But I would encourage you to say, just put that on the shelf for right now, because we could get stuck in what's going to be my question? What's going to be my question?
Yes.
Put that on the shelf, because you may not get there for another 2 years, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
And
Or you may get there tomorrow.
Or you may get there tomorrow.
Or you may get there after a 30-minute consultation with me.
I did. But anyway, we're not going to go there. I did. And I remember same thing with me. Start with joy. Dr. O. It wasn't Dr. O. It was O. Oh, what brings you joy? And how do you want to make a difference? That's question 1, and that's question 10.
Yep.
What brings you joy, and how do you want to make a difference? And I sat with that, and my passion is teachers and teaching. And I just always felt like kids should really enjoy the classroom. What we learn in fun, we never forget. Why are kids not liking to go to elementary school? Like, that bothers me. Every kid should wake up in the morning excited to go to school. Like, I get it, 6th grade hormones and stuff, but there's no way a 1st grader should be like, I don't want to go to school, mommy. What? That was never my experience.
Wow.
I enjoyed my classroom. I enjoyed my students. And as I started to think about the craft and the art of teaching, I was like, that is what brings me joy. And I want to make a difference in the world. I want to be known as the teacher's teacher. Yes. When I sit with Dr. O, I reignite a passion to teach, and I give teachers the tools to thrive. That was my thing. I want to be known as the person that reignites that passion for teachers to teach and gives them what they need to thrive. And it led me to really sit with, I was like, well, how effective are teachers? Teachers' effectiveness. And then when I had my question, you were like, so do you mean effectiveness or efficacy? I was like, what? So now I got to go back and start researching what the difference between effectiveness and efficacy is, and see where I stand and which one means more to me, which brings me joy, which one do I spend.
And which one do we know something about, and which one don't we know anything about?
Where the holes, where the gaps. So again, but I started with joy.
Yeah.
And what do I want to be known for? How do I want to make a difference? Yes. Those 2 questions alone will put you on the right track. So start with joy.
Yep.
And how do you want to make a difference? And then be sure to take time and go through all the questions.
And be open to the fact that it may not be what you have always thought you would research.
Yep, that part. Because I definitely didn't think I was going to research efficacy. Because I was like, well, what is efficacy anyway?
Right.
It's all about effectiveness and efficiency. Like, that's what we're about. But the word efficacy opened up a whole new, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, just be open to the journey. I always encourage people to come have their consultation with me at the beginning of the journey, because once you settle in, for the most part, once you ask those questions and you feel comfortable, you've massaged the topic, you may not know the question for another 2 years when you're writing the dissertation, but at least if you have the topic, you have a 2-year jump on writing your dissertation, because you're writing everything about that topic. So listen, come for your consultation, please. 30 minutes.
Yes.
It costs you nothing, but it could cost you 2 years, 12 years. No shade, could cost you a lot more money when you don't come so we can work through this topic.
Yes.
So up, Nyla has gotten out. Nyla is saying it's time. I need my
Yeah.
mama. Nyla is my dog, y'all. For
She
those of you
said,
who
"Wrap
don't know.
it up, mommy.
Wrap
Wrap
it
it
up,
up."
mommy. Wrap it up. So anyway, well, those were the questions for today as we talk about selecting considering your doctoral topic. Oh, what's up for the next week? What you got going on?
What is going on this week?
Doctor's on duty. Do you you don't have anything this week?
No.
I mean,
No. Look at
congrats.
God. And it's a beautiful thing because Wednesday night I hosted my book club and we talked about the personal librarian, and we had a whole conversation on passing, Black people passing for white anti-rape. It was deep, right? And then Thursday night I spent the whole night practicing for Tabernacle, and then on Friday night I had a party, and then on Saturday I had a conference, and then today, I had to teach, church school, do all the things with the kids, and then come here Sunday night and do the podcast. So listen,
you need a break. A break is good. Listen,
I'm not doing anything this week that requires me to travel, and I'm grateful. I know you can't say the same.
No, I can't say that. I am running like a chicken with my head cut off. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I do a lot for domestic violence. It is also our NACSW convention, October 10th through the 13th. I'll be in Dallas, Texas. So I have boxes and I'm so glad you can't see my office. I have boxes and boxes and boxes of items to take to convention. If you have not registered for the NACSW, North American Association of Christians in Social Work conference, go to nacsw.org/registration. nacsw.org/registration. So getting ready for that convention. Man, I'm traveling tomorrow to Alabama. Nice. I get to go to my beloved alma mater to do some things there, and I'll probably visit Alabama A&M to see my friends over there. Nice. So it's a busy next couple of yeah. And I'm going to I'm doing a lot in these next
yeah.
Don't ask me have I packed. The answer is
no.
Not yet. I forgot to share you all. We are, every year I do a doctoral summit.
Yes.
The doctoral summit is coming. It's coming. You hear us talk about Dr. Jones all the time. Dr. Jones is going to be one of the presenters. Woo! He's going to be talking about technology.
Yes.
AI. In doctoral education. Oh, that's one of the sessions I'm so excited about. We're also going to be talking about money. I always tell people where to find the money. So it's going to be great. Literature review. It's going to be awesome. So stay tuned. We'll be sharing that information really soon for the doctoral summit. Nice. I think that's all. Oh, that's it. Man, I think
that's it. We only 4 minutes in the OT, Dr. Jones.
That's pretty good for us.
I think that's great.
Okay.
Considering.
I like your shirt, by the way.
Thank you. Go to Redeemed. My friend has a t-shirt company, and it's called Redeemed. So you can find the shirt anywhere you see Redeemed. They're on Instagram, Facebook. I think they might be on LinkedIn. Wait, let me show you the back. Can y'all see the back?
Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord tell their story. I love it. Yeah.
It's great quality. It's a great t-shirt.
Yes.
Shout out to all the folks at Redeemed. It's awesome.
Nice. All right. We're wrapping it up. I think.
Yeah.
We're good?
We're good.
All right, we're good. So we always end with this thought: the doctoral degree, it is not merely a degree of intelligence. It is a degree of persistence.
Yes.
And we are here to help you persist. Why? Because your research matters. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Love you, Mom and Dad. See you. Oh, thanks, y'all. Bye.
Bye.